Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to your second, actually last lecture, second last lecture of C++. तो ये एक बहुत important topic है जो हमने cover करना है, and I think I've given a few 2 या 3 मैंने pointers के MCQs दिए हैं. अब ये ज़्यादा नहीं है, but it's still really important that you know this topic. So we're going to look at pointers in C++. So what are pointers in C++? A pointer is a variable that holds the memory address of another variable of same type. तो इसका क्या मतलब हो गया कि pointer भी एक variable है जो कि memory address को hold करता है. It doesn't hold another variable of the same type. It doesn't hold any data of the data type. यानी integer एक data type है, उसका data क्या होगा of that data type and will be 3 4. तो जो pointer variable है, it's not holding any data or variable. What it's going to hold is the memory address of another variable of same data type. So basically pointers are used to manipulate memory locations, और pointers के through हम memory locations को access कर सकते हैं. जब भी हम कोई वेरिएबल बनाते हैं तो उसकी मेमोरी एलोकेशन होती है. व्हाट दिस मीन्स इज कि हमारा कंपाइलर एक सर्टन चंक ऑफ मेमोरी को एलोकेट कर देता है. फॉर एग्जांपल किसी भी डेटा टाइप के साथ के इफ आई डू इंटीजर a is equal to 5 or just integer a, our compiler will now consider it, it's going to give it some space. So it's going to allocate some memory and it's going to reserve that space for an integer type in a specific memory address which is going to be assigned to a. What this means is integer a is equal to integer a semicolon, then a is equal to 5. What's the working behind this? हमारा कंपाइलर एक integer type का वेरिएबल बनाएगा a, जिसको हम एक मेमोरी लोकेशन पे स्टोर करेंगे इन अ बफर. फॉर एग्जांपल हाँ, यहाँ पे हमारी मेमोरी लोकेशन है. इट्स गोइंग टू हैव अ स्पेसिफिक एड्रेस. उस एड्रेस के थ्रू उस वैल्यू को वो हमेशा कॉल करता है कि इस एड्रेस पे जो भी वैल्यू पड़ी हुई है वो मुझे ला दो और बताओ वो क्या है. व्हेन वी सी आउट समथिंग, व्हेन वी सी इन समथिंग, तो जब हम सी इन ए करेंगे तो हाउ विल आवर कंपाइलर नो कि कहाँ पे वैल्यू रखनी है. हमारे कंपाइलर को एड्रेस के थ्रू पता चलता है कि ये इस जगह पे वैल्यू रखनी है. वरना अगर इंटीजर a या इंटीजर b है तो उसको कैसे पता चलेगा? They have their own unique memory addresses. So with the help of pointers we can manipulate memory addresses. A pointer is a variable that holds the memory address of another variable of same type. So what pointer is doing, जैसे कि integer a is holding is going to be an integer type, any integer type 5 या कुछ, so it's going to have some memory location. So with the help of a pointer we can get that memory location. ठीक है, और फिर हम उसको स्टोर करके यूज भी कर सकते हैं. कहाँ पे? पॉइंटर. एज द नेम सजेस्ट, पॉइंट करना, वो मेमोरी लोकेशन को पॉइंट करता है. So this memory address is the location of another variable where it has been stored in the memory. तो जो पॉइंटर होता है वो एक और मेमोरी लोकेशन को पॉइंट कर रहा होता है, एक और वेरिएबल. फॉर एग्जांपल हमने a की एग्जांपल ली थी इंटीजर a, तो एक पॉइंटर में हम इंटीजर a का मेमोरी एड्रेस स्टोर करते हैं. तो फिर with the help of a pointer we can access that memory address and हम उसके थ्रू देख सकते हैं कि इस मेमोरी एड्रेस में क्या पड़ा होगा. It supports dynamic memory allocation routines. What this means is dynamic means कि रन टाइम पे हम मेमोरी लोकेशंस की रूटीन्स को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. सो इट डजंट हैव टू बी स्टैटिक, इट कैन बी स्टैटिक बट इट कैन आल्सो बी डायनामिक. ओके, डिक्लेरेशन एंड इनिशियलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉइंटर्स. तो लेट्स गो टू द सिंटैक्स. सिंटैक्स क्या है? डेटा टाइप. एज यू गाइज नो डेटा टाइप इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. डेटा टाइप क्या है? स्ट्रिंग, इंटीजर, float वगैरह जितने भी हैं. Now the important thing to consider here is a pointer is represented with a asterisk. तो asterisk symbol के साथ आगे हम कोई भी नेम लिख सकते हैं. हम जो भी नेम लिखेंगे it should have a asterisk in the start. It can either be a asterisk like this, it can also be a asterisk space the name. These are both valid declarations of pointers. So इसकी example with 2 or 3 data types. Integer asterisk x is a pointer of integer type. Float asterisk y is a pointer of float type. Character asterisk z is a pointer of character type. So the next thing जो हमने declaration तो होगी. How about the initialization of pointers? तो initialization के लिए the thing that's important is the ampersand sign, which is and in your keyboard. जैसे हम and लिखते हैं, that is used to get the address. This is the address operator in C, and ampersand sign is by default an address operator. So with the help of this हमारे compiler को पता चल जाता है कि this is an address. It is a unary operator that returns the memory address of its operand. So what's the operand? जिस पे हमारा कोई operation हो रहा होता है, that's the operand. For example, मैं ampersand sign x लगा दूं तो here the operand will be x, क्योंकि ampersand is next to x, so ये ampersand वाला operation x पे होगा. जिस भी चीज़ पे जो हम operation कर रहे होते हैं वो that is called the operand. So in this example, there is no example but our imaginary example, yes, here ampersand x, here x is the operand and ampersand is going to operate over here. So address operator is a unary operator that returns the memory address of its operand. So जब भी मैंने ampersand sign लगाया जिस भी variable के साथ, what it's going to do is return the address, ठीक है, return the memory address. Just think of this as a function that returns some value and think of this as an input parameter. तो यहाँ होगा ये कि इस वेरिएबल का जो भी एड्रेस होगा वो रिटर्न कर देगा. दिस मीन्स द एड्रेस ऑफ दिस वेरिएबल. Here the operand is a normal variable. Yes. So let's look at this example of a simple declaration and initialization. Declaration क्या थी? सबसे पहले हम x में कोई वैल्यू स्टोर करते हैं. X is not, it's not a pointer. We're just storing some value, just like integer a. We're just storing some value in the x variable. So integer x is equal to 10. Now we're going to do a declaration and initialization of pointer. So how do we declare a pointer? Pointer की data type which is integer, asterisk and the name of the pointer जो यहाँ पे हमने ptr रखा है. So ptr is a good name for a pointer. It is going to be equal to something. What can it be equal to? A pointer, let's go back. Pointer is a variable that holds the memory address of another variable. So we have declared this variable. This is another variable. It's of the same type. So what a pointer can do is hold its memory address. So memory address के लिए क्या करते हैं हम? We use the ampersand sign which returns the memory address of its operand. So ampersand x will return the memory address of x. For example, memory address of x is ox5foffff2. तो ये एक एड्रेस है जहाँ पे x की वैल्यू स्टोर हुई है क्या 10. तो इस एड्रेस पे 10 स्टोर हुआ है. तो when I write ampersand x, it's going to return this value here. तो इस पॉइंटर में ये एड्रेस स्टोर हो जाएगा और पॉइंटर के नेम से ही सजेस्ट करता है कि point at this direction. तो that means इस एड्रेस पे जो भी वेरिएबल होगा उसको पॉइंट करो. Now the pointer will contain address where the variable x is stored in the memory. तो अब हमारे पॉइंटर में ये एड्रेस आ चुका है. Now one of the important thing is dereference operator. So the asterisk sign is the dereference operator. It is a unary operator that returns the value stored at the address pointed by the pointer. तो ये क्या रिटर्न करेगा? अगर हमारे पॉइंटर के साथ एम्परसेंड होगा तो that means point to this direction. What this means is इस एड्रेस पे ये एड्रेस जिस भी जगह पॉइंट कर रहा होगा, now this address is pointing towards 10. तो इस एड्रेस पे जो वैल्यू पॉइंट हो रही होगी उसको रिटर्न करे, एंड विदाउट द dereference operator static, we will just get the address. So let's look at this. हम देख रहे हैं कि हमारा डिक्लेरेशन इनिशियलाइजेशन होगी static pointer is equal to %x. तो अगर मैं सी आउट करूं, इसकी एग्जांपल इस तरह भी है, अगर if I just see out ptr, I just see out ptr without the dereference operator, it's just going to return the address because it's not, there is no dereference operator, तो कोई reference नहीं हो रही होगी. But when I see out the complete pointer with the dereference operator, that means this means कि इस pointer में जो address पड़ा हुआ है उसकी तरफ point करें, तो जो भी value pointed by the pointer होगी that will be displayed, which is 10. So we're going to do one example in our compiler. Before that, let's just look at the pointer arithmetic, which is just the same as the normal arithmetic. So we know that अगर हम normal x को plus plus करें तो उसमें एक plus हो जाता है. तो we know that static x is pointing, it means कि इस address पे जो पड़ा हुआ है that is 10. That is 10, मगर without the asterisk sign, plus plus will be adding 1 to its address. So for example, अगर address 1000 है, then x plus plus will increase by 2 size of int data type, because एक integer data type 2 bytes का होता है, तो by adding plus plus it's going to add another 2 bytes, because this is an operation, arithmetic operation on address. यहाँ पे address पे हो रहा है because ये pointer है and it doesn't have a asterisk. That means इस एड्रेस को एक इंक्रीमेंट करो, जब भी एक और एड्रेस इंक्रीमेंट होगा तो जो उसका साइज होगा वही ऐड होगा. कैरेक्टर में 4 बाइट्स ऐड होंगे, अगर ये कैरेक्टर होता 1000 होता तो एक इंक्रीमेंट के बाद 1004 हो जाता, नॉट 1001. सो don't worry, I know this is a vast topic and we didn't train that much, that's why I didn't give this in our exams. So but I still have to clear के addresses पे अगर हम एक इंक्रीमेंट करेंगे तो जो हमारी बेस एड्रेस होती है, जैसे हर एक डेटा टाइप का एक मेमोरी होती है, कैरेक्टर की 4 होती है, इंटीजर की 2 होती है, कुछों की 1 होती है, 1 बाइट होती है, कुछों की 2 बाइट होती है. तो उसकी जो भी मेमोरी होगी, तो जब हम इंक्रीमेंट करते हैं एड्रेसेस, इट एड्स द बाइट्स टू इट. अगर कैरेक्टर होता तो 1000 से 104 हो जाता, अगर इंटीजर है तो 1000 से 1002 होगा, not 1001. So this is what you guys needed to know. Let's just quickly jump to the implementation. Short implementation होगी जो आपके एग्जाम में आ सकती है या आ गई है. And the rest of these things you guys can read in the slides which I'm going to provide. Okay, so quickly let's go to the implementation. Open this. We're going to create a pointer of the integer type, static, and let's call it pointer. So we have a pointer right now. उससे पहले we're going to give some number. Let's make it equal to 10. So we have a number integer type and we have a pointer. So for the declaration of this pointer, we have to declare it like this: static ptr and an address of some variable of the same type जो है integer number. So let's write number. So this is a valid declaration. Now हमने देखना है दो चीजें. First let's see what static ptr does, just ptr does. तो because without the asterisk dereference operator, इस एड्रेस पे जो होगा वो पॉइंट नहीं करेगा, ये it's just going to return the address. Let's test this. Okay, I'm going to do it on dev real quickly. Open a new source file and just copy paste this. I'm going to compile this. Okay, so the mistake I made was this. हमने इसमें इसके एड्रेस को स्टोर करना है. So also on the online compiler, let's go. Yes. Okay, let's see कि हमारा एड्रेस आता है या नहीं. Okay, so this is our address. In PTR we save the address, but with the dereference operator, which is this. Let's run this. If you get 10, yes, so this is the basic pointer functionality and implementation. So आप dev में भी इसको ऐसे ही कर सकते हैं. Remove this. It's going to return. Let's compile this. And run this. 10. Okay, good. Okay, so let's do one more thing. हमने एक और integer बनाना है. Let's make another integer, number 2, just to test our theory. Call it 20. Okay, and then we're going to create another pointer. Call it steric ptr2. Okay, and then in ptr2 we're going to save the address of number 2, and now what we want to do is check the address of number, and let's go endl. And then let's check the address of number. Actually we're not going to see out it like this. हमने इसको किसी ptr में स्टोर किया. yes, ptr2. तो पहले let's see out ptr. इसके अंदर हमारा address stored है, and endl. after that I'm going to check ptr2. So let's compile this, and then let's run this. Okay, so what I want to check now, okay, we have two addresses. Actually ये वाली theory, it's going to be proved in an array, क्योंकि array की consecutive memory locations है. So right now adding ++2 here won't result in the same number. It won't give me the second number, second address में. अब these are integers, 2 bytes और add करके it's not going to return me. 2 bytes अगर मैंने और add किया तो number 2 नहीं return करेगा, because it's not a consecutive memory location. एक दूसरे के साथ इकट्ठे नहीं पड़े, they're placed in their scattered locations. लेकिन अगर ये array हुआ तो हमारी theory prove हो जाएगी. So let's just check this by pointers. Let's see right now. Execute. Okay, 10 or 20. So what if I do ptr? Okay, what if I do ptr2 is equal to ptr1 प्लस प्लस. तो इसके साथ 2 और बाइट्स को ऐड हो जाना चाहिए. So it's integer, 2 और बाइट्स का एड्रेस ऐड हो जाना चाहिए. Let's see what happens. ptr2 पे देखते हैं. So you guys see, we didn't get the number, we got another address, और इस एड्रेस पे कुछ stored नहीं था. क्योंकि इस एड्रेस पे कुछ stored नहीं था, we saw it just like this. मगर let's prove that theory of consecutive addresses. So let's create an integer array of like 3 types, 3 elements, and then let's initialize them like this. Let's go 1, 2 and 3. I initialize them like this. Okay, in the pointer 1, let me store the address of array 0, which is the address of array 0 is, अगर हम इस पे point करेंगे, it's going to be 1. Let's comment this right now, and let's comment this as well. Let's see यहाँ पे output क्या आता है. So I want to, हमारे पास 1 आना चाहिए क्योंकि this address, ये pointer is pointing to this address, and let's see इस address पे क्या है. Compile and run. Okay, so we got 1. Now let's check this theory. इसको खत्म करके ptr plus plus करते हैं. So it should add 2 more bytes to this. Adding 2 more bytes to this, and let's remove this. Let's compile and run. Okay, so you guys see 2 and 1. So this is, अब हमें कोई address नहीं हुआ because this was the correct address for this. Why this was the correct address for this? Because memory locations, arrays are consecutive memory location. तो उसमें 2 और bytes add करेगा तो उसका next address आ जाएगा. So let's look at this, how we brought these 2 addresses. Copy this and यहाँ पे let's paste this with a few endls. This is fine. यहाँ पे let's put a space. So we're going to do ptr and ptr2. Let's look at the addresses. Let's compile and run. So you guys see on 2 and 1 4 bytes का addition है. So this is for 2 06FFDE 4 bytes, and on 1 there's 0. So here an integer is of 4 bytes. हर address में वो 4 bytes add कर रहा है. इसका next address होगा 8. So we can find it like that. So I hope this proves both of the theories, and now you guys need to be well prepared for the exam. So thank you and Allah Hafiz.